the moment that you're living in right now, every moment you have, can be sanctified, can be made something very important, be meaningful in the eyes of God. So that idea had always fascinated me, all right? And when I came across Opus Dei, it seems like it had it all geared, all programmed toward that concept, where your whole life, and especially for a layman, I mean, you know, in which I have, maybe at one time I had inclinations I wanted to become a priest, but that went by the wayside real quick, is that not only the religious, the monks, the nuns and all, can work toward their own sanctification and the sanctification of others, but in your own work, everything, whatever you do, you dig a ditch, or you work as a technical writer even, or whatever it is, as long as it's a legitimate vocation, legitimate work, is not illicit in any way, that can be a means by which you can sanctify yourself, sanctify the others, and where prayer and labor, or prayer and work, actually kind of merge into one whole, you know. It's not necessarily a dichotomy all the time, so say, well, okay, I'll say my prayers this weekend, or I'll go to Mass this weekend, the rest of the week is mine, you know, my business or whatever I do, you know. And I grew up in an atmosphere that was kind of like that, in other words, where people would say, well, I keep my religion in one pocket, my business in the other, that sort of thing. And I never had bought into that. I said, no, it's either meaningful for your whole life and everything you do, in your married life and all the suffering you do, and every one of these moments must mean something. And when I came across Opus Dei, it just seemed to gel right there and say, okay. In fact, I wish I had come across it when I was about 25 or 30, you know. But, you know, God meant for me to see it at that particular time, you know. And so that's what I was looking for. It's just the gelling of the circumstances and all. And it just seems to have come together, you know. There'll be a liar that I told you that every moment of my life is completely, you know, what they say, contemplation in the workplace, where you're constantly aware of God, and every little moment you're paying attention to it. No, definitely not. But you're working toward that. And what Opus Dei provides a lot of times is sort of like a framework for that. For example, I get a mentor come by every month to see me, you know, we'll meet at a restaurant and say, okay, how are things going for you now? Have you been able to attend Mass every day, or say your rosary, or say your prayers, or how's things at the workplace and all? So it's sort of like having a spiritual coach. So, you know, that's one of the things, you know, I get provided, and it's great to have that, because you never know if everything were internalized just by yourself. You might be thinking you're doing great, but maybe not, you know. So it's that one thing. They provide retreats for me, you know, and for example, about every year I make a retreat. They have this place open now, retreats, but normally I've been making that another retreat center in Massachusetts, what they call Arnold Hall. The other thing that really comes together for me that I really like is that I don't know, I think somebody expressed it as what they call the secularity of it. In other words, you're doing this out in the world. You're in the middle of the world. When I first started attending, I had already heard some of these things. So I started observing real quickly, and I said, well, wait a minute, you know, if at any moment I think this is going to be a cultish type thing, where they're going to try to coerce me to do anything or whatever it is, you know, that's it. You know, that's the end of it. Or they try to include me in some esoteric practices or secret or whatever it is, you know, that'll be the end of it. Okay, I've been 11 years. I've never encountered that. Every member of Opus Dei I have met is a very common, sensible type of person that would please say, if you're abusing or doing something at the extent that you shouldn't be, don't do it. You know, I haven't met anybody yet that is this highly secret person. And in fact, sometimes it just seems downright laughable.
So, on balance, it's been good for you?
Oh, I'd say so, yes, very much so. It's given me a structure in which I can work with, and the people I've met in Opus Dei. I mean, for example, I have Ralph Areste, who's here. He goes by every month, and about the beginning of the month, more or less, or toward the end of the month, and gives me a call. He says, hey, let's get together. So we go out to some restaurant, sit down, and then we talk. He said, well, how's it going for you? You know, were you able to do this? I said, no, Ralph, you know, I tried to get up in the morning. I was too darn lazy. I wasn't able to make it, you know, but I'm trying. Just, well, keep on trying. And he might give me a little advice, and then, you know, I pray for my children or the world, the way things are going. Then we chat about other things too. You know, it's not always any very seriously spiritual thing, but it's good to have the friendship, the camaraderie, and his prayers, and get to work on it. So it's all, you know, helps me a lot. It's been a very, as I say, I wish I had come across it maybe, you know, 20, 30 years ago or something like that.